Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back for recording 3 of Hearthstone today. So, we are trying to get our rank up. We have a total wins of 1,743. We're about at 1,750 if that is a round enough number. And we need to get two more wins to get 100 gold. I am very shocked that we are at 3175 in our gold already. Very, very shocked. I don't know what has been going on. It's not like the grand tournament is that it's been out for maybe a month or two. And I would hope that we have 3 or 4 more months. Oh, there's a nice victory. Well, that solves that problem. I'd hope we'd have 2 or 3 more months before any new expansion comes out, and I haven't heard of any new expansion coming out. If we go 2 months, right now, it'll be close to Christmas.
Versus Gul'dan.
And I don't know if they would want to do a Christmas theme.
The light shall bring victory.
Like expansion. You do a Christmas themed expansion in any game and it's gonna be very off-putting and weird as people play those Christmas cards like in March.
Why do you go?
Alright, we'll
In
play
the light's
this
name.
and end the turn. We got some good cards here that will combo nicely. These two work nice together. These two work kind of nice together.
Face the light.
Well, I could heal this one, but I don't see a reason to. Just let him attack and kill it. Why not?
Stop yelling!
So I'm starting to see which ones I want. I think I want to do the coin and this.
How many fingers do you
Next
see?
turn do these two. Next turn after that do these two. So last recording I mentioned how I feel in my mind I have a very thick wall between what is reality and what is fiction, and that I now have no problem seeing the difference between them. It is fair to say I wasn't born that way though. I was certainly a kid like any other kid, and when you kind of think about children and look at their TV shows, for instance, all these puppets, all these monsters, all these fictional characters talking directly to them, looking very real. I mean, you look at Sesame Street and that is nothing but puppets and monsters talking to kids, saying they're real. And there's all kinds of cartoons showing things that aren't real. Frankly, if you start to really think about it, it is amazing that any child of the past 100 years has had any grasp on reality at all. Because we tell them and show them so much stuff that's not real and pretend it's real.
In the
And
light's
then
name.
I guess very quickly we eventually turn them around on that and go, nope, those things weren't real.
Well played.
I mean, I'm not just talking Santa Claus here. I'm talking lots and lots of things. And I certainly was a kid just like that. So there was almost certainly things that I believed were real that weren't. I probably thought Elmo was real. No, actually, I'm probably too old for Elmo. I don't think Elmo was in Sesame Street when I was a kid. I remember Oscar the Grouch was my favorite, which probably says something about my personality.
Embrace the void.
But yeah, it's weird. It is a weird thing we do to kids. We mess with their heads, don't we? When I was a kid, I wanted to be a magician for a short time, and I think that set me down a certain path. Although this might be a chicken or egg thing.
I wonder.
Now I'm talking a really little kid, probably 3 or 4 years old, wanting to be a magician, not a teenager or anything like that. So maybe I was inquisitive and wanted to learn about the tricks and how things worked. Puzzles and optical illusions always fascinated me, and figuring out how they work was always very interesting. So I'm still to this day very inquisitive. If there's something I don't know, boy do I love the internet and Wikipedia and Google, because I can just go look it up and learn something new.
Are you afraid?
See, if I get a bunch of people and it starts making that sound, I may have to figure out how to turn that sound off or just do something else, because that's slightly annoying. But so I don't know if I was inquisitive and that's what got me into learning magic and puzzles and things, or if I was interested in magic and puzzles and things and that made me inquisitive. But I think that eventually did put me down the path where I started to, probably earlier than most kids by a lot, question things and not believe in things. That eventually took me down the path of not being really affected by fictional things, because I've seen probably a lot of it.
The damned stand ready.
Now, is that really the thought then, that you shouldn't give fictional things to it? Even like VeggieTale people that only let their kids watch like Christian cartoons and things. VeggieTales is a bunch of vegetables that can talk. Bible Man is a Batman ripoff that's fiction too. Even the cartoons for what you would call very conservative people are still chock full of fiction. I don't know if there's any modern society that does not believe in fiction at all. Like ancient Native Americans and ancient cavemen, all of them made myths and told fictitious stories. And some of those fictitious stories eventually started getting believed by people, but a lot of them didn't. We've had a long tradition of trying to teach morals in fictitious things, and we've almost never attempted to teach morals in actual things. Not as far as stories. There was, I can guarantee you, I'm willing to bet, no Little Red Riding Hood who went through the forest and had her grandma eaten by a wolf. I can I'm willing to bet that never really happened. But we tell that tale to, at least on some
Face
levels,
the
scare
light.
kids into not wandering through woods.
In the light's name.
So when you think back, I cannot think of any true tales. Because history is history, and history is boring. Like, sure, when you get in school, you start taking history and learning from that.
In the light's name.
But
Face the light.
we'll go ahead and kill this here. But we don't tell history stories to little kids. Probably because the real world is complicated. I mean, even the attempts at making like Nazi Germany be as one-sided, good versus evil as possible is not really the truth of the situation. People would love to say that Hitler was working all by himself and he had some kind of magical powers where he controlled the entire country of Germany to force them into doing things they didn't want to do. But
The light shall
it's
bring victory.
just not the case. That's not the reality of it at all. And I guess that's why we don't tell history. That's why we tell fictionalized versions, why we simplify things, why we have cute fuzzy Elmos tell us our morals instead of just a wise old person who learned it the hard way. And I don't want to make it seem like I have anything wrong against fiction. Look what I do for a career. Obviously, I have nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong with fiction in my mind. It's just
The damned stand ready.
there's so much of it so early in our life. My life in general is like almost everything I deal with for my job is fiction stuff. And the fun stuff is definitely all the fiction stuff, because if I have to deal with a content ID match or something like that, that certainly is not fun.
My fate is sealed.
I guess I'm just gonna heal myself here in the turn. I guess that is the best argument ever, that someday we may all just, as humans, plug into a computer and never plug out, never unplug, just live our entire lives in a fictitious world. There is certainly a lot of stuff that would have to be engaged in and thought about. People do think about it in stories. They tell stories to engage on how reality might be. And one of those certainly is going to be, like, if we go into a fictitious game world, can we go murder people? Is murder really allowed? Are we going to set up specific areas where it is okay to murder people because they just respawn somewhere else? Or are we gonna just ban it outright? In the real world, there's actual consequences. If you kill somebody, they don't come back.
Reporting for duty.
In the fake world, no, we can't. We play video games where I saw an article about this that was kind of interesting. Like, we play video games like The Witcher 3, and in The Witcher 3, you are given the opportunity to romance a lot of women, and they almost always say yes. If 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 we all plugged our brains into some fictional Second Life type game, it's gonna be a very different and strange experience when we start dealing with humans and we try to romance them and they say no. Or maybe everybody will be so relaxed because it's not really romance anymore, because nothing's really real anymore. Maybe everybody will just say yes all the time. And the only real trauma we could ever make in a fictional Second Life is mental trauma, and we would have to decide how much mental trauma is too much. Can we do The Sims on somebody? Can you lock, like in the Sims, can you lock somebody in a closet and delete the door and leave them there for hours and hours and hours? What if that person is claustrophobic? Will they be claustrophobic in the fake world, or will they just go, no, never mind? It doesn't bother me. Or if they're afraid of spiders, can we throw spiders at them? Can we spawn spiders in their neighborhood? It's the old Spider-Man statement: with great power comes great responsibility. Once we go to full virtual reality, immersion virtual reality, we have this great power, and then we're gonna probably need to have some great responsibility about what we can and can't do, and where and when. I imagine it will be a little bit of everything. I bet there will be an arachnophobia server somewhere where you just go there and it's just crawling with spiders, and if you go to that server, you're consenting for people to throw spiders at you. And then I bet there will be an anti-arachnophobia, if I'm using those phrases correctly, which I don't think I am, server somewhere that's like, spiders are banned, absolutely no spiders in this world ever.
In the light's name. In the light's name.
And then would do that for everything. Let's see. Alright.
My fate is
Kill this. And do I want to heal this? No, I don't think I do. And then the much less likely scenario, as I'm just making speculative fiction here, is that maybe we will eventually go have seen and created so much fiction, people will get bored of it, or frustrated of it, or just don't want it anymore. And maybe we will eventually create a society where just fiction is banned. Even telling a fairy tale will get you fined type stuff. It's like, you must speak the truth or not speak at all type stuff. It must be something that really happened.
Time runs out on
That would probably be a very weird society to have something like that, because then somebody somewhere would become the arbitrator of truth, and that usually would mean the government. And that usually would mean something bad. Let's see, let's just go ahead and hit this one in the face and end the turn. And I don't know how I could live in a society like that.
Mind if I roll need?
It would be a very weird society. It would be like one of those Star Trek societies where you just get in there and there's it's difficult to even understand what what's going on or how they communicate. So this one must be hopefully not vaporized. Oh, that's fine. I bet this is a heavy trap deck, considering he has the mad scientist and this. It also might just be the not very good card. Oh, I didn't realize we're up to 20 too, so there's really no reason to be playing anymore. I think we might go to 21 this season. Why not? Let's get up to 21, and then once we get to 21, we will stop playing, and we will see if that increases our return. This season I got 1 gold card, 5 dust, and a card back. So I didn't even get a pack. Now, I think the gold card in itself was probably worth more than a pack was in price. But barely, because it was like a gold common.
How many fingers do you see?
Let's see.
Face the light.
Hit the face. Vaporize. Darn it. That sucks. I figured it would be a vaporize eventually. What if you grew up in like a Matrix fictional thing? Like you knew it was fictional, you knew it was fake, but you didn't understand really what the difference was because like from birth they just plugged you in, and sure every now and then you may unplug, maybe you have to unplug to eat or go to the bathroom or something. Maybe they haven't quite figured it out, so you can just always be connected. But if you are really just unplugging for 5 minutes, walking around your apartment and then plugging back in, and you've never gone outside, you've never seen anything in the real world or anything like that, as somebody who grew up that way, you're not going to really know what reality is. I could see people easily waking up and thinking they're in the game when they aren't. There would have to probably be a constant reminder that you're not in the game. Of course, now say you were on a spaceship for a new planet and you were in deep suspended animation for most of that. This is probably the most realistic scenario that somebody would live in such a fictional setup. Darn it. I screwed that up.
Fine, I'll want.
But yeah, we were just in a spaceship, so there was nothing to do on the spaceship, and you were living in this world. That would be really weird. Of course, what does that really help when you get to that new planet? Unless you've got robots building all your houses and growing all your food and doing everything, all the science experiments, which at that point, what's the point of humans even going there? Except for maybe just to breed. Maybe there's not enough humans on Earth for some insane reason. I couldn't even think of a reason. Maybe just too much pollution, and because of the pollution, it's close to impossible to have.
Are you afraid of the dark?
To have children on Earth, I mean, that would make sense. Of course, then you would have to figure out
The
how to
dam
create
stand ready.
Fine, I'll
a
watch.
system so that these people who live in this fictitious world could come out of the fictitious world and long enough to have and at least slightly raise
Mind
children.
if I roll need?
Unless that's all automated too, and women just are okay with becoming pregnant in the fictitious world while they're asleep and then giving birth while they're asleep and just becoming baby machines, which I seriously doubt very many women would be willing to volunteer for that. I mean, I guess pregnancy is not that hard if you don't experience any of it because you're in a Matrix-like simulation the whole time.
Time runs out on
Life would certainly change quite a bit in this story. Once you just stop being involved with the real world.
Are you afraid of the dark?
Fine, I'll watch.
Hit the light.
So what I am hoping to do is that he damages himself, but I don't think this is gonna work. I think I've lost. I do believe I have lost here. But what would be really cool about this story is that I'm just rambling here about this thought of a society that's always connected to a video game type world. Is what if it was you had to reach a certain level? We're gonna play one more at least. We still got some time. Before you were allowed to spend prolonged times outside. What if it was really this whole training scenario of how to be a mature, proper, intelligent adult? I mean, in a lot of ways, the biggest problem in
The light shall bring victory.
the world today, which is a big statement to say, but I'm gonna say it is immature. People immaturely just arguing against things that they could either be part of the
In
solution
the light's name.
and actually honestly investigate it and realize and admit that there are things like global warming and such. It's like a lot of people, and sadly some of those people are in charge, just being immature on global warming and saying, no, it's not really a problem, no, it's not really because we've allowed corporations to pollute the environment, no, it's not really because cars should have never been allowed to have millions and millions of them on the streets.
Options.
That if everybody went into a simulation and they just had to play out real life,
The light.
and as they played out this program, they had to show that they were mature, that they've realized the errors of their ways, if they've lived in the fictional video game for millions of years and they can see the outcome of their actions on a galaxy scale versus just their just a 100-year scale or a lifetime scale of one person. If they see what a world would be like if it was just full of people exactly like them who are being immature. And the game could actually measure your maturity level and say, you know what, you've got it. And just from that, everybody that walks out of this is almost to the point where they're just completely brainwashed. I would hate to use the phrase brainwashing, but in a lot of ways it is. It's taking a brain and scrubbing it clean of its vices and malices. And at that point, people would walk out, and if that was a 2-year-old, because time was sped up, wow, just think about that. Think about if a 2-year-old was as wise and intelligent as a 100-year-old. Like, if somebody had that level of just demeanor, decor, spoke perfect English, totally knew as much as anyone else, and wow, where could that 2-year-old go in his life if he started with such a boost? I mean, that's all childhood is today, is just learning to be mature, learning to deal with people, learning learning a few things like reading, writing, and arithmetic, yes, but really none of that's as important as just knowing how to deal with people, how to talk to people, how to be nice, how not to be nice when in certain situations, and hopefully there aren't that many of those situations, but would we just all be geniuses, or does it eventually get down to a point where it's like it doesn't matter? Is it a situation where maturity level is based on just brain chemistry, and if you put somebody in a machine like that, maybe even if they were in the machine for a million years, they still would be the same old person? I would hope that's not true, but I've met people where that seems like that would be the case. I've met people where it seems like if I spent a million years putting this person through therapy and really explaining to them, and them really even trying to work at it, which I don't believe they would, I still don't think that they would be any different. So, which is kind of a long way to say I do think that there are hopeless people out there. Just because that's what they chose, how they choose to be. Let's see. Still think I've lost here. Yeah, no reason why I haven't lost. So yeah, after this game I guess we'll wrap up since we don't have any more quests to do. But yeah, that's a weird thought. Let me know in the comments if you followed any of that stuff. What your society would be like if everybody was in Second Life as we go. There certainly have been some animes about it, but they all often don't ring true, because when you go to like .hack or Sword Art Online, depending on which season you're playing, which season of Sword Art Online you're talking about, the very first thing and the only thing that ever gets focused is that they're trapped in the game, and that if they die in the game, they die in real life, and that's not likely to actually happen. I don't think so. Maybe trapping people in the game and having them starve to death is possible, but probably not even that. So none of those have really covered the thoughts I've had, but they certainly were the basis of some of my thoughts, because yeah, I definitely watched that hack and enjoyed it, and have watched Sword Art Online, and depending on who's in charge of writing which season, there's definitely some interesting stuff there. Anywho, that's gonna be it for this recording session. So I am done. We are at 3285. Do we have an arena entry? No, we never bought one. So that will be one thing I want to buy is an arena entry. I mean, I guess I could do it right now, can I? But might as well not. I want to be at 5,000 first, and if we get to 5,000, there is definitely a thought to maybe get to 10,000. I don't know really if there would be a reason, just to save time and have extra things. If I bought 50 packs on 5,000, I could buy 100 packs on 10,000, and maybe that would have helped. That is an interesting thought. Maybe I should just let the number grow and grow and grow. So if the next time there's an expansion in cards, I'll just buy as many packs right at the beginning so we can see if we can unlock them all. That's eventually what we would want to get to. But the first thing we'd want to do is get all the classics and all the goblins versus gnomes. So I think for now we'll stick with our regular plan, and then later on perhaps save up more, but only after we've collected all the old ones. You know, they haven't released a new like heroes lately. They came out with these and then they stopped. Maybe because nobody was buying them for $10 each. I wouldn't buy them for $10 each. Anywho, that's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. All that helps out. If you want to support me, you can click on my name, Rydo. On the right will be a blue button that says support this channel. Click it and make a donation. And if you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.